From South Carolina Public Radio, this is the South Carolina Lede. I'm your host, Gavin Jackson, and this episode was recorded on June 15th, 2026 from South Carolina Public Radio studios here in Columbia. On this episode of The Lede, we look at the ongoing endorsement game, especially with another former Republican gubernatorial candidate throwing their support behind one of the two candidates in the June 23rd runoff. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet.
Oh my God.
You gotta keep listening. It's a tease.
Brother,
We continue to look at the runoff races in the First Congressional District. Both the Republicans and Democrats are going for a runoff, and I wanted to bring you some moments from a May forum that the Democrats participated in. A Republican runoff debate is pending, so we'll bring you that when we get it too. Now, the Lede loves to hear from you, and actually, we're going to have a wind down today, folks. It's official.
all right.
We have no calls, though.
Oh, darn it.
But we'll have a wind down. 803-563-7169. Give us a shout. I know summer is pretty much here. It's June. It's here. It's hot. The humidity is here. Everything's really reminding you about the wonders of South Carolina right now. 803-563-7169. Give us a shout. Let us know what you're up to. All right, let's look at what's on tap for this week. Just very briefly, up in Congress, the Senate is in and the House is out.
Okay.
On the economic front, last week we got new consumer price index or inflation numbers for May that showed for the year inflation is running at 4.2%. It ticked up 0.5% in May, and President Donald Trump said he loves the inflation, which is more than double the rate that the Fed likes to see. Speaking of the Fed, the Federal Open Market Committee meets this week with interest rates expected to stay put. This will be the first meeting for newly installed Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh. So expect to hear his version of the press conference on Wednesday and to talk about rates that we know that President Trump wants to see slashed, but when you have inflation at 4.2%, doesn't work that well, it's a catch-22. And of course, that decision is made by the FOMC, not just one person. Okay, let's look at a sprint to the June 23rd runoff election. The SCGOP is holding its runoff debate Tuesday at 7 p.m. from Coastal Carolina University. I'll be on the ground there after missing the Wofford debate. Hated that, but redistricting. We'll also be in the spin room afterwards, so we'll have even more for you in Saturday's podcast. And we're going to have that debate between Attorney General Alan Wilson and Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evett. And neither of them secured the necessary 50% plus one vote to avoid a runoff. And also, just a little heads up, I'll be sitting down with these guys for an episode of This Week in South Carolina. So, of course, you'll be hearing those interviews as well. Now, Evett got 29% of the vote and Wilson got 26% of the vote. So that's why we are in a runoff. Now, 5th District Congressman Ralph Norman came in third place with 17% of the vote. And on Monday, June 15th, Norman announced his support for Wilson.
The top two vote getters were Pamela Evett and Alan Wilson. I want to congratulate both of them. As someone who has always believed in participating in our elections, I've never sat on the sidelines, and I'm not going to now. We have two choices before us, and I owe it to my supporters to tell you where I stand. Over the past several days, I've carefully looked at both candidates. I've talked with them, and I've considered who is best for the future of our great state of South Carolina. The person that will cut wasteful spending, the person that will lower our taxes, fix our roads, the person who will empower our small businesses, and which are the lifeline of this great state, and move South Carolina in a more conservative direction, which is definitely what we need. Today, I'm excited to announce my complete endorsement of Attorney General Alan Wilson.
Wilson said in a statement, quote, "Whether standing up to Washington bureaucrats, challenging the political establishment, or defending the principles of limited government, Ralph has never backed down from a fight. I'm honored to have his endorsement and grateful for his friendship as we continue building a statewide movement focused on protecting freedom, securing our future, and keeping South Carolina the most conservative state in America. To everyone who stood with Congressman Ralph Norman, know this, you have a home on Team Wilson," quote. Now, Norman also said a big reason for her support for Wilson is on his stance over gambling.
We need a battle-tested conservative to get down to Columbia and clean up the mess. And folks, one of the big things with me is gambling. That's a backdoor tax that we can't have. I'm happy that the churches have stood up and opposed gambling. And Alan Wilson has given us his word, and he'll follow through on stopping gambling if it comes across his desk.
Norman also announced that he'll be launching the Legislative Accountability Institute of South Carolina to create a DOJ-style commission to expose wasteful spending. It will also include publishing voting records of lawmakers and recruiting strong conservative candidates, he said, to run for office. Norman said Wilson is fully supportive of the organization. Now, this endorsement came after 1st District Congresswoman Nancy Mace, who came in fourth with 12% of the vote, threw her support behind Wilson the night of the primary. Businessman Ron Reddy has not endorsed either, and Spartanburg Senator Josh Kimbrell, who had dropped out of the race days before the election, previously put his support behind Wilson. So a lot of coalescing here, and again, Wilson, who won much of the Low Country with the exception of Beaufort and Jasper counties, also got several key statehouse endorsements from Charleston Senator Chip Campson, Beaufort Senator Tom Davis, and Berkeley Senator Larry Grooms. Sticking with the Low Country, Charleston Representative Mark Smith, who is running in the 1st Congressional District primary runoff, also endorsed Wilson this weekend.
Wow.
Runoff to runoff, stacking it up. Smith will face off against Charleston County Councilwoman Jenny Costa Honeycutt on June 23rd. And again, stay tuned. The SCGOP will be carrying a televised debate on that race, not ETV. It's going to be another gray event there with WCSC. Now, nationally, while Wilson doesn't have Trump's endorsement like Evett, he did get Texas Senator Ted Cruz's endorsement over the weekend. So a lot of endorsements here, which means, getting support, name recognition, some money, some networks, etc. Wilson's campaign is building momentum from these announcements, including the earned media attention that comes with them and a consolidation of the field as the two campaigns look to draw personality differences since their policy stances are very similar. Now, Evett picked up several statehouse endorsements from Greenville Representative Mike Burns and Spartanburg Representative Bill Chumley, helping shore up her right flank there. Now, Evett did win Spartanburg County, but came in third in Greenville behind Norman and Wilson, which was a difference of about 700 votes. Evett did get a major statewide endorsement from Treasurer Curtis Loftus, who said in part that Evett is, quote, a proven, conservative, successful businesswoman and America First champion. Like President Trump, Pamela came from the private sector and knows how to grow an economy and cut government red tape. President Trump has made clear she is the best choice for governor, and I couldn't agree more. Pamela has stood with him from the beginning, fought for conservative values, and will deliver real results for South Carolina families, quote. That was Treasurer Loftus. Now, we're still waiting to see what more President Trump will do for Evett. Trump is in France right now for the G7 summit, and that goes through Wednesday. So, ticking away time here before what might be happening. A lot of people are wondering if he might come down. Hard to say. Busy man, little thing called Iran going on. But again, one of his other folks he's endorsing, his pick for the Commissioner of Agriculture, Cody Simpson, is also in a runoff and faces Danny Ford Jr. Let's continue looking at the field here for the runoff ticket when it comes to next Tuesday for the Republicans, including the Republican Attorney General's race that's also going to a runoff with Georgetown Senator Stephen Goldfinch matching up against 8th Circuit Solicitor David Stumbo. First Congressional District Republican candidates Mark Smith and, like I said, Jenny Costa Honeycutt are set to meet up in that runoff as well. And there's a debate with Live 5 News, which I assume will be on YouTube as well, and we'll bring you highlights from that when we can. There's also a runoff for the 1st Congressional District Democrats between Mac DeFord and Nancy LaCour. I moderated a forum that both attended back in May for the League of Women Voters in Charleston, and I want to bring you some of their responses to some of the questions, and we open with their opening statements, so take a listen.
My name is Mac DeFord. I'm a U.S. Coast Guard veteran. I'm a father, soon to be a father of 3. I'm a father of 1 now. I'm also a public servant. I enlisted in the Coast Guard when I was 18 years old, and that's what brought me here 16 years ago. I was a federal law enforcement officer. I protected our port, secured our waterways, and saved lives at sea right here in the Low Country. I also continued my public service after attending the Citadel and law school at the Charleston School of Law, both for the town of Mount Pleasant and the town of Hilton Head Island. I've been there for this community during a global pandemic. I've helped to bring affordable housing to our district, protect our environment, and help communities that have been neglected. And so it is an honor, and I thank each and every one of you for being here tonight, and I thank my fellow candidates as well for stepping up in these chaotic times. Thank you.
Hi, Admiral Nancy LaCour. I served in the Navy for 35 years, eventually leading 60,000 sailors as a 3-star admiral and chief of Navy Reserve. I'm a military spouse. My husband served 29 years. I'm a mom of 6, including 1 son who's a Marine and 5 daughters. Last August, I was removed from my position by Pete Hegseth, not because I did anything wrong, but because I did everything right. Now, I am running for Congress because this district deserves a leader who understands Washington and can make Washington work for the district, and that's what I bring to the table. I've already navigated D.C., I've fought for policy change and funding, and I've fought for my 60,000 sailors, and I will fight for the Low Country just like I did for my sailors. I am running because my life has been about service, and I want to continue serving, this time in Congress.
The next question we start off with Ms. LaCour. We're interested in learning more about why you're running for Congress, especially at a time when Congress is struggling. Recent Gallup polling shows that roughly 86% of Americans disapprove of Congress's performance, one of the highest disapproval records on record. At the same time, the U.S. Capitol Police report thousands of credible threats each year against members of Congress, their families, and staff, which underscores the personal risk of the job. Why are you motivated to join the Congress at a time when political polarization is so high and public trust in Congress is so low? What can one member do to change these trends?
Yeah, so there's too much at stake. Like, I just feel like I cannot sit on the sidelines right now. And as somebody who's been personally impacted by this administration, that is really what compelled me to launch this campaign for Congress. That and being a mother of 6. I am concerned about the future that we are leaving behind for our children and for their children. And so, is it dangerous and risky? Yes, that's what I've done for my entire life. 35 years in the military. I'm not afraid of that. And I think as my military background, being very nonpartisan and mission-focused, is exactly what we need in Congress. The most effective Congress we had was when it was about 65% military veterans, and we can get back there. There's a lot of veterans running across this country right now, and we can make it right.
Currently, Congress is effectively a shell. It is an overpaid cheerleading squad for one person thanks to the majority party. So why I want to go into this environment, despite the fact that, yes, I'm putting my career on hold. I've got a 19-month-old son. I've got twin girls coming in. Because we need Congress to do its job again. We need Congress to start working for the American people. And we need serious people instead of unserious people representing us, the people who elect us, not big donors and not special interests. I've been engaged in public service in some capacity for really since I was 18 years old. And what spurred me to get into this initially was having been in local government. I had to go and sue FEMA because our federal delegation didn't want to pay the town of Hilton Head millions of dollars for critical beach renourishment funds that is critical to protecting our coastline, that saves communities inland even from storms that come ashore. So we must elect people who can work at all levels of government with all levels. And just one of 435 members, I understand that's just one voice in that body, but what you can do in your district, how you work with the local government, how you work with the state government to deliver results for affordable housing, for protecting our waterways, that is critical, and that has been my work for almost 16 years here in the Low Country.
Question to Mac DeFord. The U.S. government debt is now over $31 trillion, larger than our entire economy. What are your recommendations to address the debt?
First, it starts with undoing Trump's tax cuts. Trump gave tax cuts to people who I would imagine, don't benefit anyone in this room. They benefit billionaires. They benefit big corporations. They do not benefit you and me. They do not benefit the working families and individuals of our district. At the same time, because of that revenue loss, Donald Trump thought that tariffs would be a good idea. But we already know that a tariff-based revenue system does not work. That's why we instituted the income tax in 1913. Republicans tried that again in 1930 with Smoot-Hawley. That also did not work. It made the Great Depression worse. So we also need to take back control of the tariff. That goes back to Congress reasserting its role as a co-equal branch of government. That's under Congress's purview, not the president. And And lastly, this out-of-control spending. I mean, if we are going to be serious about addressing the federal deficit, addressing the debt, I mean, we have a Department of Defense that has never passed an audit. I'm full support of our military and making sure that we have the strongest military in the world, but we need to demand accountability from the Department of Defense to make sure that we are not just handing them a blank check. And yes, I also support rewriting our tax code. Our tax code is tens and thousands of pages long, not for most people, but for the very wealthy who skip out on paying taxes. So we need to make sure that the wealthiest in our society and big corporations are paying their fair share as well.
I believe our country should be run just like all of us run our households. You pay for what you spend. And if you don't, there's consequences. It doesn't seem like that's the case for our country. And that's why we're have this significant national debt right now. It's a national security issue because of who holds our debt, but it's also an issue for everyday Americans because of extremely high interest rates right now. So we need to get this down, and the way to get this down is through taxation. And we'll take a hard look at how we can work on that immediately. But I also think we need target investments in the economy to start building the economy back up and make sure that we are not getting ourselves further into debt and able to bring the costs down bring the interest rates down for every American across the country.
And an FYI that Lexington NAACP and the Greater Columbia Central Labor Council hosted a primary runoff debate on Monday, June 15th for the Congressional District 2 Democrats. Those two Democrats are David Robinson II and Zion Khalifa. The winner of that runoff will face off against Congressman Joe Wilson this November. But also wanted just to include some national news from our delegation as well with Senator Lindsey Graham, who himself avoided a runoff. He's not going to a runoff after winning his six-way primary in hopes of winning a fifth term in November.
Number 5.
And he was on Twitter with a bit of a skeptical take on the pending Iran peace deal, which reads a bit like an extended ceasefire if you read through it. But the Strait of Hormuz is said to be opening toll-free soon. But Graham said on Sunday on Twitter, quote, "I am pleased to hear the memorandum of understanding with Iran to allow the Strait of Hormuz to open has been agreed to. I will be watching closely the ensuing negotiations regarding Iran's nuclear program and other matters. I am somewhat concerned that Iran's view of the agreement seems different than what the American negotiating team is claiming. Under our law, any nuclear deal with Iran will be sent to Congress for review and a vote. I look forward to reviewing the final product, and I believe it is imperative that the architect of the deal, Vice President Vance, and his negotiating partners be part of the process in presenting the final deal to Congress. Congratulations to all on getting us to this point. Time will tell," quote. That was Senator Lindsey Graham on the pending Iran deal. We will see. Indeed, time will tell. Welcome to the Wind Down section, a little break from the news. We're glad you're here, along with A.T. Share, lead podcast producer. Hey, A.T., welcome to the Wind Down.
This
Been
is
a minute.
This is a new section, Gavin. It's a real test run, you know?
Back.
Yeah, we're back, Gavin.
We're back.
We got no calls.
It's okay.
We got no calls. We got some texts and we got some props on the name, what to expect when you're electing.
Yes.
That was a big hit. And Gavin, I got to commend you. You did a great job hosting your wire-to-wire 2-hour results show. But I do have one problem with you, and I think you already know where I'm going with this.
No, I don't think I do.
Viewers, any viewer that watched saw Gavin, an absolute masterclass of hosting the results of the primary. And you had a great friend of the pod, Scott Huffman, on.
Oh, right, yeah.
And you guys, I mean, absolutely fascinating conversation, great stuff. I love hearing all that stuff. But in the background of Scott Huffman's shot was a giant red dragon. And over the 2 hours, I just kept watching thinking, surely they're going to speak about the dragon soon. And I couldn't keep my eyes off it, and it's the only thing I could think about. And yet, the show went by, and nary one mention of the dragon.
Haven't you talked to Scott about this before?
I have
Haven't
not.
we gone to him?
I talked to him about his Lord of the Rings picture behind there, which has already been there. The dragon is new.
Can I go ahead and just say it's tangential to his lifestyle?
There's definitely
His
no
LOTR lifestyle?
There's no doubt in my mind that there's a direct line between LOTR lovers and dragon enthusiasts.
Yes.
You know? But I mean, I think you did the people of South Carolina a disservice by letting the dragon go unmentioned for 120 straight minutes. Okay, that was the length of Armageddon. You didn't even talk about the dragon.
Oh my God! Oh, what a great movie based on a true story.
Yep.
Armageddon, 1990s. AT, not for lack of trying, AT literally texted me during the live coverage, ask about the dragon.
Yes, I saw that it went red and you didn't answer.
Wait, you guys, the people on the Google phones,
a lot
you
of
guys know?
things are happening. Yes.
You guys know when iPhones read your...
I get red receipts.
Whoa,
now.
okay, I don't like that.
That's his bigger takeaway. He's deflecting from the dragon, folks.
Well, you know, it's the spin. We're in the spin
This
zone.
is no spin
I
zone.
will say, I
way.
wish I had time. I literally didn't have time because the news gods really did bless us in that coverage. We had 2 hours.
Robust.
You know,
Yeah.
we've learned over the years, polls close at 7. You got to give it some time.
Oh,
you got to
gotta.
give it. You don't just get on at 7 and say, okay, what do you hear? And you got to give it time.
Shout
so we
out
go on at
Iowa.
8.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God! Do we still have the results from Iowa?
I don't know. They're still trickling in.
2020.
It was a great show.
Yeah,
It really
but it
was.
just never came. It never got to that point where I'm like, oh God, I got to kill for some time here. I got to stretch and.
And then you're thankful for a dragon.
And then I'm like, so the dragon, Scott. And
Scott,
to
if
our
you're-
listeners on public radio right now, there's
Yeah.
a dragon in Scott's background.
Let me describe it to you. It's red,
It's red.
with an orange belly, and of course, it's on top of a crystal ball.
Scott, tell our listeners and viewers what we're looking at here.
I mean, Gavin, you got to imagine.
Well, he's coming back next week. We got June 23rd. We're going to have an hour runoff coverage, guys, at 8 to 9 with the possibility of going longer. You know, it
maybe
always
dragons,
happens.
maybe 2 dragons. Who knows? Maybe a wizard, a mage. Anything is possible. But yeah, I think you really let the state down. I think you let yourself down. And I'll also tell you, I also texted Amy, our producer and Gavin's producer live there. I said, tell Gavin to talk about the dragon, please. Okay?
I can tell you that she did not talk in my ear about
I
that.
knew she wouldn't because she's too scared. She's not like me, okay? I'm willing to go there for you.
She knows what it's like. Maybe I'll just let him do the talking, interrupt him with some trivial matters.
A very stupid thing. Yeah, but that's what they
No, it
come
was
here
good.
for. The end of Gavin's very smart and insightful leads.
It was a lot of fun. We were rocking and rolling.
It was great.
I mean, I had all my papers everywhere. I write up a whole script, which I of course wait till the day of, which is psychotic. I should have really given
Part of the
some more time.
process to
Part
our
of my
mystery
process.
caller.
And luckily, I've done enough of these election shows where I have a bit
This
of
is
a
old hat,
template.
folks.
The House guys, you have some of the stats already built in. But you're also adding new things when it comes to the governor's race. So I have papers.
Yeah.
It started small, then just started expanding. And then I'm like, where did I put page number 12 is on the ground. And I throw it because you just want the up to date. There's so much to talk about. There's so many different races. And you want to make sure you have the right stuff.
The ticker tape just coming straight out right onto your lap, so it just piles up, and you just hear.
I got back on the Twitter just to see Meg Kennard, tweet out breaking news, race calls, and now Twitter's like, "Hey, I know you didn't ask for notifications for all these other people, but here's what other people are saying about things." I'm like,
nightmares.
Get off of. I mean,
See, I just didn't get rid of my Twitter, and it's got it still has everything shut off.
And I have friends that are sending me things from here and there when it comes to Twitter and the campaign trail, which if you're not on Twitter, I'm not, it's a whole different cesspool dumpster fire
bad.
of this race right now.
awful.
And it's just to me, I like to pretend in a sense that I'm the average voter and they're not plugged into all that. So why that echo chamber doesn't necessarily need to influence what I think the reporting should be. Yes, some things get brought up that you want to talk to these candidates about, but for the most part,
It's a terrible
It
place.
is just mudslinging, and it's innuendo.
I
and
am
it's
holding
accusation,
out for when it gets sold again. I will get rid of Twitter when there's a faster way to find out if someone is injured or not during a Philadelphia Eagles game. It's truly the only reason I still have it.
But I will also say there's been some nice highlights recently with the World Cup. Folks, we've been
God.
talking about this.
It's
I mean,
so
I get that on
nice.
Instagram too. You get the Japanese in Texas and
it's
in
really
Mexico
good.
and the
It's
Scots in
really
Boston.
good.
It is bringing back some positivity to the world, and I think it's different the way that they're doing this World Cup compared to like the Olympics, like there's more. It just seems like we're seeing so much more organic interaction with people outside.
Well,
of,
it's
like,
the type of thing where you just go talk to people, and you
Yeah.
kind of people don't suck as bad as they suck on the internet, and so when you see them in person, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's
And
a nice
especially
reminder.
when it's someone from across the world, and
Yeah.
your only idea of them is
Exactly.
like a caricature of a caricature of a caricature,
Yes.
and then you meet them in real life, and you're like, oh, you're not bad, you're
Yeah,
good, you're
like-
funny.
and it's
you
like-
want to go try a bunch of pit beef or brisket?
Well, yeah, it's a reminder that there's life outside of the United States. Everyone, there's the world outside of the United States. Like it's not just us out there.
Pains me that they're all going to Buc-ee's, though. Anyway, Gavin, we got to get
Let 'em
out of
learn.
here. Welcome back, folks. The Wind Down's back, and I
yes.
bet less than 20% of you are hearing my voice right now. You guys left 5 minutes ago. Anyway, folks, Gavin's gonna
the
do
Wind
the
Down's back. A
outro.
lot of
See
people
ya, you
finally-
absolute sickos. We love
We
you.
love listening to you. Yeah, give us a shout. I know you're excited that we're back. 803-563-7169. Let us know what you think about the World Cup. I'm not really watching it. Go Knicks. I don't really care about the Knicks, but congratulations for a big win for you guys.
Boo Knicks. Go Sixers.
I don't. What, their first championship in 25 years? More than that?
50 something.
Oh, I got the numbers turned around.
Yeah.
50, okay. there
Also,
you go.
boo the Knicks. Those fans are the worst.
I think they're pretty fair weather, I would say. I've never known. I didn't know there were so many Knicks fans until recently.
Yeah,
That everyone had a jersey.
I can't stand Knicks fans. Okay,
I bet.
delusional.
That sounds like a
people.
whole different wine.
And
down for you.
also the Jalen Brunson MVP, Philly kid, go Birds.
Go Eagles.
Ah, okay. That's the one guy I do know from that. So congratulations, Philadelphia, there. And of course, you can always show us your appreciation by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast from. And you can stay up to date with the latest news on SCETV.org and SouthCarolinaPublicRadio.org. And don't forget to support your local newspapers. The South Carolina Lead is a production of South Carolina Public Radio. Our producer is A.T. Shire. Amy Crouch is our supervising producer. Sean Birch is our executive producer. Sydney Wilcox is our intern. This podcast is produced with support from PRX and is made possible in part by a grant from the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation, as well as listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina. For the South Carolina Lead, I'm Gavin Jackson. Be well, South Carolina.
I was talking about this with Sherry and Tim because are you doing a Star Wars voice?
That's how it's written in Nordic. My mother's already terrified that I'm going to, get abducted. So I think the last thing I need to do
And your
is-
mom is going to have to do Taken.
He's got that,